And welcome to SCL5 Day 2 match I've completely forgotten, but it's a loser bracket match between No Boundaries and something else for you raise a team. This is going to be a knockout, it's best of one, so whichever team loses this is out of the tournament. Something else has brought their same team again. It's a Paladin, Eos, a Neros, Ruptures, Vexor. Interesting move, bringing it again, same thing again against a good team. Potentially risky, but they've managed a very, very good ban with their Varga ban here.
Yep, and for No Boundaries, we've got a triple Slefner, Paladin, and support frigates. And of course, they are under pressure to match the Paladin jumping out of the arena from last time, considering their team name. So we'll see if they can do it here.
I believe that's actually a reminder that they shouldn't go out of the arena and not repeat
Nonsense.
past events where they have before. Remember, they've seen this setup before where they had a Varga, so that's now been banned out and they've chosen to replace it with Paladin, which is tricky. These last minute replacements teams done before have cost teams previously, like Hydra in the final of the last AT.
Alright, and we are off. Let's see what they're doing here. The frigates are diving in on one another, as you would expect. Cruisers look like they're positioning here. And we're seeing the Vexor of Skilled being primaried on the something else team, and he's dropping quite rapidly.
Yeah, he's taking some heavy damage, but he is receiving low reps here, so they've been unable to damp Mr. Nearest out. He is still in rep range, which is going to be having a very significant effect. They've got the damage to power through him, but while they're doing that, it is taking them 10 time, and Matt Slemnir of Vendorin is taking a beating. He is tanking it for now, though. So if he can continue to hold that local tank, it's not going to last forever, but if he can continue to hold it, or they chew through his ruptures through the reps, it's going to have a massive impact on this match.
Those Slefners are being tracking disrupted, but it does not seem to be helping, as that Vexor does drop.
No, the Slepner is being very quick, about to get straight on top of their targets, pin it down, and the tracking disruption isn't going to do that much. And Skylight is down, that's the first F. Vendorin is still taking a beating, but he is still tanking that beating. He's probably going to be overloaded, he's going to have charges in his ASB, so it will not last, but it's letting them take out damage and reduce damage to the rest of the team, so it's having a very good impact so far.
It's an incredible swarm of drones in that Slefner, and it does look like he will drop shortly, as even with the boosts, he's not able to keep up. He is slowly but surely losing shields, and he may be out of charges, as now his armor is dropping rapidly. Meanwhile, on something else, they've lost a Rupture and are about to lose an Enyo, despite reps.
Yep, and this is the danger here for the No Boundaries team. They are taking out that damage quite effectively, but now they've lost the Slemnir, it's going to be much harder to power through that Neros' reps. So if they can't power through him, the longer they take, and with them completely reliant on the charge of their SBs, they're now in an attrition war, which is going to get increasingly tricky for them. So they need to break this next Rupture of Palavi Echo quickly before they lose any more damage to give them this chance to go for that Neros. But although they are winning the support force, we might see these Harpies, we might see these Rifters go charging in for that Nearest very soon and try and take him out separately.
Yeah, they're losing. They just lost an Enyo, they lost an Incursus, and I think they will lose the other one shortly as he is tackled. However, the Rupture is also coming under fire and some neutralizer pressure, but like you mentioned, the DPS from No Boundaries will fall off, especially if they lose another Slefner, which is now flirting with half shields.
Yep, Sakura must be feeling the pressure now. There can't be many charges left in that ASB. He will drop fairly shortly to this damage. But even though he's going to do that, the last support frigate now is gone for something else. And that leaves those support frigates for No Boundaries completely free to charge in after Neros. So I'm expecting all 6 of them to be on in very shortly. And for us to see that logistics ship go down, which is going to leave it a very, very close match. Although Sakura now bleeding into armor, he's out of charges. He's going to drop shortly.
Meanwhile, the Sonero is taking fire, and he does have an ancillary shield booster, believe it or not.
Well, if he's got a shield booster, it's certainly not doing much for him here. He's straight down into armor. He doesn't seem to be tanking these frigates at all, which is pretty much what we'd expect. He's not going to be sig tanking them. He's taking a beating. He's actually repping up his armor, so he'll be holding it for a while. But while he's doing that, the Slepnir is now taking another beating. So No Boundaries losing more of their DPS.
And with those Rifters are right on his tail, and they're applying some neutralizer pressure with that NOS. And there's a lot of DPS coming in on him, along with a huge drone cloud surrounding the Anuras. And if he's ancillary shield booster tanked, much like the Slefners, it's simply a matter of time.
Yep, and he's going to be down very shortly. It looks like No Boundaries are in a pretty good position to pull this off. That Eos and Paladin left are going to have trouble killing off those support frigates. And with Slepnir as well, he's going to have a good local tank. So it's Paladin on Paladin, Slepnir on Eos. Although Eos does have the advantage of Slepnir. That Slep's been taking a beating for a while, so he'll be hitting reload much, much earlier.
Yeah, I think realistically it's going to come down to Paladin, and then the support fleet versus that Eos. And considering No Boundary's sheer number of support frigates, I have to give them the edge on that one. Even if they're
Yeah,
not
it's
putting out much damage, they will wear down the tank of the Eos.
Yeah, I think you're completely right there. That EOS traditionally not a particularly well tanked ship, especially not in comparison to Sleipnir. But Sleipnir should now be able to attempt to burn away, but with that range of those Paladins and Bastion, I don't think he's going to be able to do it. So he probably will drop very shortly here, but I would expect to see that EOS follow him pretty quickly.
And now you can see the support swarming over that Eos, getting under his tracking, which presumably he's positioned somewhat near his sentry drones. I don't think this fight has moved that far away from the drone pile. So those frigates are going to be relatively safe. And look at
Yeah,
him now. Yep, he's dropping into deep armor now.
yeah, EOS is a drone boat. He's probably going to have mediums out here trying, or possibly lights trying to get some of his frigates off, but it's not going to matter. He's not going to kill anything anywhere near quick enough. We're seeing a bit of shield damage to Rifter, but a huge chunk out of Rifter's armor. And Rifter's blapped straight away, but it's not going to be anywhere near enough as EOS falls into structure.
I can only imagine this is happening because those support frigates are burning toward the Paladin, which is lowering their transversal. Once they get a safe orbit around him, I don't think that Paladin is going to be able to kill any more of them.
Yeah, that's probably a good point. We're seeing Aura Iron Fist is actually attempting to run almost directly away from a Paladin. Reasonable, but really he should be just trying to get in there, trying to get on top, trying to apply that damage. Of the way things are with the points, all they need to do for No Boundaries is keep a single frigate plus that Paladin alive for another 4 minutes, and they're going to win this. Paladin on Paladin, I doubt either of them will have the DPS to burn each other down, so it's just going to come down to points, even if they can't get the kills.
Yep, and we can see a neutralizer effect coming off of Morwen Logan onto Suicide, who did not appear to be firing.
I have actually changed my mind. I would like these 4 frigates to die as quickly as possible, burn up the arena, so we can go to a tie-dye fight between the 2 paladins and see what happens when tie-dye is massively sped up between these 2 marauders.
There would be something to see. Okay, the Paladin is in Bastion mode, but yep, his guns are silent.
Possibly just saving Cap. He's probably decided at this point that there's no point. He's not actually going to get the kill. He's just going to sit there, tank it, and pretty much that's it towards the end. He's probably watching for transverse of his frigates. He might be hoping they're going to make a mistake, thinking he's not trying to fire back and just waiting for that chance. Or maybe he's waiting for Bastion to end and he's planning a micro jump somewhere to try and pick one of these off.
Okay, he must have popped the cap charge because he's now firing now on our screen here, and he's going after one of the frigates completely unsuccessfully. It doesn't appear that any of his damage is being successfully applied despite a tracking computer and a painter. But it's just not doing him any good here. Those frigates too small for those battleship class guns to track.
So I'm not seeing him firing, might just be a bug on my screen though, but I'm not seeing that Paladin firing at all. To me, it just looks like he's doing his best to try and tank this and towards the end of the match. Oh, yep, there we go, he is firing.
Yep.
And as you
He's
say,
now
he is
applying
not
damage
having
to
any
the
real
Paladin.
effect.
He's swapped over to the other Paladin, but that's too little too late. You can already see Suicide into deep armor now, pulling back huge chunks, but whatever kind of tank he has, you've got to believe that Morwen Logan has quite a bit of a head start, and even if the other Paladin does go down, there's no way he's going to be able to kill these Harpies. He's already tried, and he just cannot apply the damage to get through their passive shield regen.
Yeah, Suicide, he's not in a good position here. He's trying to he's actually started firing. Suicide is going for one of his frigates now, but it's not going to be quite enough, so that looks like it will be something else out of the losers bracket. An impressive showing. I have to say, I did not expect them to come this far, but done a good job. They've knocked out a few teams we didn't expect, and this match, not a bad batch. Came down fairly close in the end. Pretty brutal, lots of things dying, it's what we like to see.
You know, 2 competing philosophies, No Boundaries going with a extremely high DPS setup, whereas something else doing a more distributed damage setup with these Tech 1 cruisers and backing it up with a logistic ship. But unfortunately, those Tech 1 cruisers just not resilient enough, despite being under wraps, to survive the sustained fire of 3 command ships, a Marauder, and all these tackling frigates, which are allowing those heavier ships to apply their full damage.
Yeah, that's true. And we also saw the support war there as well from No Boundaries, coming in with a lot of extra frigates. They swarmed those frigates down from something else and they were able to go off, jump on the logistics ships, kill them off very quickly, giving them their team the advantage. But again, we've seen Sleipnirs, even with the new model, as pretty as that model is, it's still a bit of an emotional thing not seeing Sleipnirs as we're used to them. But they do look good now, and still an amazing tournament ship.
Yep, I rather like the Hurricane model, so I embrace change in this particular case, and I really love the new EOS model.
Ooh, a bold statement. I certainly have a good model. Looks fantastic, really does. It's just so used to seeing with Slemleys, especially in tournaments. They're such an iconic tournament ship with changes. It's a little painful.
Yeah, quite possibly. I've never actually flown one myself, but I'm thinking about it.
Definitely worth a try. As we've seen here, fantastic local tank, fantastic damage, application of its speed. They are and will remain an excellent tournament ship. Though as we've seen, the rest of the command ships now a lot closer to par. Even Rail Vulture is something that no one would have considered in the past.
I certainly didn't even consider it in the present, but the Rail Vulture definitely surprised me with the amount of damage it was able to kick out, considering it has no damage bonus.
Yep, and it looks like Suicide will last to the end of the match, pretty much as expected here, with reduced damage on him, and No Boundaries will take this victory on points in just a few seconds.
Oh, looks like Puskarch and the Harpy had a little brief flirt with death there, but he's quite alright, and time has expired. We're going to send it back to the studio.